question, one person's job at the beginning of Spyglass. So Spyglass communicates directly with your Olympus processor. You guys already know this, but I'm just going to run through it one more time. Olympus, just like your TV at home, has a function on it that's picture-in-picture. If you hit custom 1 on the Olympus processor, on your monitor, you'll get a screen within a screen. So we've turned picture-in-picture mode on, but now we have to pick what channel we want to watch on picture-in-picture because there's 3 different inputs on here. One of them is the US, one of them Spyglass, and the other one's variable. To change the channel, you just hit custom 2. So when I hit custom 2, I now get not only picture-in-picture, but I get my Spyglass image on the monitor as well. And then after that, we just go back to custom 1, and that's custom 1 is now just, do I want my picture-in-picture image large or small? I can just change the setup until it cycles back through to picture-in-picture is off. Does that make sense?
Well, do you do that right away, or?
So what I would do is if your physician says, we're going to do a Spyglass case in the next ERCP, I would come in, make sure Spyglass is on, press custom 1, make sure that you're getting a picture-in-picture image. If you aren't, it means you've got to do the thing where you go to menu, you go to user settings, and then you pick ultrasound. Once you pick ultrasound, then you can come back, custom 1, make sure you get your image to pop up. And then make sure you see that Spyglass image in the corner like that. If you see it, then you know you can start the case, and then the moment the physician is ready to use Spy, all you do is turn on picture-in-picture, and there's your Spyglass image. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Then the other thing this individual can do is, typically you'd have irrigation set up here for your colonoscopes and everything else. That exact same irrigation tubing is going to plug directly into Spyglass. So the easiest thing to do with all Spyglass procedures is to come over here and grab saline and just swap out the bottle. So just take the cap off, drop the same tubing into the saline bottle. The tip of that saline is going to connect in the Spy. And then the last step is suction tubing. There's scissors right here. We're going to cut the white tip off of the suction tubing, and that's going to act as suction for Spyglass. Okay? So that's what I would call the first person's job. The second person is going to come over to the cabinet, grab a box for Spyglass, it's right here. We'll open that box. After you open the box, what you'll find inside is basically this. The only difference is that the blue catheter is actually going to be inside a hula hoop, so it's much more organized than my Spyglass is. What I'll typically do is let the white portion of the catheter fall. This would be in a hula hoop. On the white portion of the Spyglass catheter, on one side of it is a blue arrow. Blue arrow always facing up, plugs directly into the Spyglass console till it clicks. You'll know that it's on when you see the light. The light will pop on and Spy immediately. And then off of this catheter, you have 2 connection points. The first one, which I love, has blue water droplets on it. This is where we connect that irrigation pump tubing directly to here. The second one is the suction port. It normally has a stopcock, but I broke it off of my demo catheter. But either way, you'll take your suction and you'll just press fit it directly onto this point. Now we have suction, irrigation, and our Spyglass catheter. Okay? So, after we remove it from the hula hoop, what you might do, just to save your eyes, is hit the light button, turn the light off for just a moment. And then luckily, you're going to have help in the room. So what you want to do is, you see how my catheter has no loops in it? You want to make sure that there's no loops in the catheter when you start to front load it over the guide wire that's already in the patient. So this patient, we've already beautifully cannulated. We're ready to use Spy. The handle has a little nook right here. we want to put that on the hard plastic part of the duodenoscope, not the rubber part. So you just find your wrap, your rubber wrap for your locking device, just go right below it. Make sure the dials are in line with one another. And then, like with all these devices, the easiest thing to do when you're wrapping anything around the handle of the scope is not to just immediately try to wrap it around, pull it away from the scope, and then bring it around. It gives you a whole bunch of extra slack to use, and it's super easy to put it on. All right, our dials are in line. We have irrigation and suction connected. We know we're getting an image on the screen. Our light's off currently. And then all Connor has to do is load that into the guide wire into the largest hole in the tip of Spy. She's going to feed that in. As that feeds in, we're waiting for the wire to come out the biopsy port of Spyglass. So our wire just came out, and now I can slide it by pulling here the rest of the way. At this point, your physician's typically going to lock their elevator to keep their wire from moving forward, and then they're just going to advance Spy down the scope. Cynthia, if you would, as I push in Spy, do you see all that wire coming out? Do you feel it coming out? So give me a little back tension on the wire. There you go. And I'm going to go down until I hit the elevator. It was did. Spy comes out of the scope, and you continue to provide me back tension. So that's typically what our scope's going to look like while we're working with it. Okay, so we sent Spy. We can take a break now.